Samantha Mills is a Nebula, Locus, and Sturgeon award-winning author in Southern California. You can find her short fiction in Uncanny Magazine, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, Strange Horizons, and others, as well as in the Best Dive anthologies, The New Voices of Science Fiction, and the Year's Best Science Fiction and Fantasy 2023. The Wings Upon Her Back is her debut novel. Congratulations, Samantha. Go.
Hello. The book opens when the main character, a winged warrior named Zemlai, commits a crime. She is stripped of her wings and cast into the city. And this is the first flashback chapter immediately after that. Long before the sky was cut by the fearsome warrior, winged Zemlai, there was only the student Milar Zemlai, known to her loved ones as Xenia. Xenia was a precocious child. Her parents would have accepted nothing less. She was also prone to mischief, and shortly after her 8th birthday, she jumped from the Zavet Bridge with nothing but a bit of wood and paper on her back. It was the greatest moment of her young life. The night before the bridge incident, Xenia sat on a rug in her mother's study with her younger brother, Niklaus. The siblings were only 1 year apart, dark-haired and round-faced, a matched pair, inseparable. Their parents were always busy with research projects of their own, but if the children were very good and very quiet, and there was time remaining before they were sent to bed, they'd be told a story. Niklaus was working his way through a dog-eared history book while Xenia pretended to do math. A thin thread of tension stretched between them, strengthened by furtive glances at the clock that ticked so ominously on the opposite wall. They both longed for attention, and they both knew how easily a plea for more could backfire in stern lectures about learning to entertain oneself. When their mother cleared her throat, they snapped their book shut and spun to face her, and Natulia laughed at their enthusiasm. "I'm sorry, children. It's been another long evening, hasn't it?" she said. "Why don't you come here and I'll tell you what I'm working on." Xenia darted behind the enormous desk first, peering at the familiar swirl of her mother's handwriting on 3 tidy stacks of cream-colored paper. "A new book?" she asked. Natulia smiled. "A supplement to a volume of Lemaine. I'm up to the last stand of Saint Redesta." "The giant bird!" Niklaus exclaimed, poking his head around Xenia's arm. "Yes," Natulia said dryly, "the giant bird." She stood up, wafting the scents of ink and forgotten tea, and pointed to the mural painted on the wall behind her desk. It was Redesda in cartographic caricature. There the mountains Kelior in thick strokes of ochre, and here the city, safely nestled in their shadow, sketched in all the colors the land could produce. Natulia picked up a sheet of paper and read, "The 5 gods have slumbered for many years, each in their own heaven, but they were awake once, and in their wakefulness they bestowed remarkable technologies on humankind. Each of them whispered secrets to their chosen representatives, for they knew that the greatest sign of our humanity is our constant struggle for perfection." Xenia ran her fingertips over a tiny figure standing atop the tallest mountain in the mural, a slash of red and silver with its arms upraised to the sky. "Our ancestors understood the magnitude of these blessings," Natulia continued. "They strove to keep them secret from the warmongering nations beyond the mountains, but knowledge exists to be spread, and so it did. The people of Rava State were fiercely jealous and descended upon the infant settlement. It was Saint Redesda who brought everyone together, the fighters and farmers, the engineers and scholars, the workers, to defend this grand experiment, a city built to reach the heavens." Above the scarlet blur of a soon-to-be saint was a winged beast in brown and gray, an enormous ruck, the last of the mountain birds and their enemies' greatest hope of breaking the city's defenses. It snatched up Saint Redesda during an impassioned speech to her army just before the Battle of Three Gates. She killed the beast mid-flight, then fell to her death. The war was won, the saint lost, and Redesda, the city-state, officially born. It is our duty to protect this city, Natulia concluded, our joint mission to guard the knowledge that has been entrusted to us to better ourselves both physically and intellectually in pursuit of our ideals. Niklaus was enraptured, as always, by the little group of scholars with their arms full of books, standing next to a partially built tower. But Xenia wasn't interested in taking robes. She was staring at the top of the mural, at the figure she had studied so many times on these long, lonely evenings, while she kept quiet and did not interrupt her mother's work. The winged, flying fierce and true over the border, sketched in sparkling copper paint. And just like that, Xenia had a fantastic idea. She enlisted Niklaus the next day under cover of a joint expedition to study the sod-covered roofs of Zavet district for a botany project. I'm not sure about these numbers, little Niklaus said, squinting at the diagram Xenia had circled in her math book. It's all about ratios, Xenia insisted. We scale it up. This is a kite, he said doubtfully. Why do you think I'm making two? This bit of brilliance could not be argued with, and they spent the next hour measuring and cutting a pile of wooden rods that Xenia had smuggled out from their father's garden shed. A great deal of string, glue, and waxed paper later, Xenia had her first set of wings. Niklaus's concern returned when it came time to tie Xenia's arms into place, but he offered his own solution. You had better try from higher up, or the wind won't catch. They crept onto the Areozavet bridge after the lunch hour, when all nearby adults were safely confined to their factories or offices. Xenia climbed onto the railing, awkward in her poorly thought-out personal engineering design, while Niklaus stood ready with a pocket watch to time the gentle descent they felt certain was about to occur. Xenia jumped. There was a brief moment when the air hit her face, and the world went still, and she was weightless, unstoppable. The cobblestones were far below, and her eyes were filled with clouds. She crashed, of course, one broken leg, and lucky it wasn't anything worse. A hectic scene followed, fueled by her own pain and her little brother's panic. She ripped off her crumpled wings and ordered Niklaus to shove them into the trash beneath the bridge, and then she swore him to secrecy before he ran for help, a pact he gladly took to forsake his part in the whole mess. But that came after. For one moment before the crash, she'd had the sky, and her fate was sealed. One day, Xenia was going to fly.
Yes.
I will be giving away a signed copy of the book, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you.